Rain hammered the marble awning of the Grand Crest Hotel as Liam Carter, single father and bellman, watched three men in maintenance coveralls push a tool cart toward the VIP elevator. The uniforms didn't match hotel protocol. Their eyes avoided the cameras. Liam rolled his luggage cart into their path, calm but firm, and asked to see their technical badges. The elevator across the lobby opened, and a platinum-haired woman in a charcoal coat stepped out, observing quietly. The crew forced smiles and tried to slip past. Liam stayed planted. He had no idea the guest watching him was a tech billionaire. The Grand Crest's lobby stretched 3 stories high. Marble columns rising like sentinels beneath a coffered ceiling, gilded in gold leaf. Bergamot and cedar hung in the air, mingling with the faint whisper of luggage wheels across polished stone. It was 215 inches the morning, and the graveyard shift hummed with the kind of hushed efficiency that made luxury feel effortless. Liam Carter moved through it, like a man who had memorized the choreography. White gloves pristine, shoulders squared, greeting returning guests by name, even when their faces barely registered recognition. He was 35, but carried himself with the precision of someone trained in systems, not servitude, on his wrist. An old aviator's watch bore an inscription too faded to read in dim light. But Liam knew the words by heart. To Liam, keep building. His former employer, an aerospace firm in Seattle, had given it to him the day they let him go. Downsizing. They called it a polite massacre. He had packed his drafting tools, kissed his daughter goodbye, and moved them both to San Francisco, where the rent was brutal and the work was honest. Every night before his shift, Liam checked his wallet, not for cash, though money was always tight. For the photo. Sophie, age 7, grinning gap-toothed in front of a science fair display about suspension bridges. She had used popsicle sticks and dental floss. And the judges had loved her. Liam loved her more. She was the reason he stood at this hotel in this uniform, smiling at strangers who would never know his name. That morning, before the rain began, he had crouched in their narrow kitchen and repaired the frayed strap on Sophie's backpack with electrical tape and a sewing needle. She had chatted the whole time, animated about a school project on sensor networks. "Dad, did you know buildings can feel when something's wrong?" "Like they have nerves," Liam had smiled. "Sort of. They have systems. And systems need people who pay attention." She had tilted her head. "Serious like you." He had kissed her forehead and promised one day, "Kiddo, I'll go back to being an engineer. But right now, this job keeps the lights on." The hotel's operations manager, a man named Derek Hawthorne, did not like Liam. It was a quiet, persistent dislike, the kind that showed in assignment rosters and break schedules. Hawthorne was 38, sharp-suited, and perpetually convinced that Liam's competence was a personal insult. He had tried twice to have Liam reassigned to loading docks. Twice. Oliver Grant, the hotel's head of security, had quietly intervened. Oliver was 45, cautious, methodical, a man who trusted patterns more than people. He had noticed that Liam saw things, small things. A guest's mood shift. A door left ajar. A shadow where there should not be one. Tonight, the hotel's VIP manifest listed a single guest under the alias Mrs. Wells, high security accommodation, penthouse suite. The instructions were sparse. No media, no photographs, heightened perimeter monitoring. Liam had seen the directives on the staff board and thought nothing of it. Rich people bought privacy the way others bought coffee. But earlier in the evening, small anomalies had begun to surface. A report from engineering noted intermittent electrical issues on the 52nd floor. The tool storage room had been reorganized without authorization. And Oliver Grant had spent an hour on the phone with an external maintenance contractor, his voice tight with the kind of frustration that came from answers that did not add up. Liam had overheard fragments of it while restocking the luggage hold. "No, I didn't approve a third-party access request. Check your records again." The rain intensified. Through the tall glass doors, The city blurred into streaks of neon and shadow. Liam glanced at his watch. 230. Another 6 hours until shift change. Another 6 hours until he could bike home through wet streets and make Sophie breakfast before she woke. Then he saw them. 3 men emerged from the service corridor near the freight elevator, pushing a metal cart stacked with toolboxes and coiled cables. They wore navy coveralls embroidered with the hotel's crest, but something was off. The fabric was too stiff, too new. The cart's wheels left faint tracks of mud across the floor. Even though the loading bay was covered and dry, one of the men carried a toolbox that gleamed under the lobby lights, a mini welding torch visible inside. The Grand Crest did not stock welding equipment. Liam's pulse quickened, but his face remained neutral. He angled his luggage cart into their path, smooth and deliberate, as if he were simply rearranging the lobby furniture. The lead man, broad-shouldered with a scar threading through his left eyebrow, slowed. His badge hung backward. The name printed on the plastic read Clinton, but the font was slightly misaligned, a shadow around the letters, suggesting a bad lamination job. "Evening." "Gentlemen," Liam said, voice polite but firm. "Can I see your work order and approval code?" The scarred man smiled. "Too wide. We're here for the electrical upgrades. 52nd floor. Mr. Grant authorized it." Liam nodded slowly. "Right. What's the ticket number?" "A." Pause. The man's smile tightened. "We don't have it memorized." "It's in the system." "Sure, but protocol says you reference it verbally. Even short-term contractors know that." Another pause. One of the other men, younger with nervous hands, glanced toward the security cameras and then quickly away. That glance told Liam everything. These men did not want to be recorded. Liam kept his tone measured. "I'll need to confirm with Mr. Grant before you access the VIP floors. Hotel policy. I'm sure you understand." The scarred man's jaw tightened. "We're on a schedule. So am I." The elevator across the lobby chimed. The door slid open, and a woman stepped out. She was in her early 30s, wearing a tailored charcoal coat, her platinum hair pulled into a low twist. Her movements were economical, controlled. She did not look at Liam or the maintenance crew directly, but her gaze swept the scene with the precision of someone trained to notice details. She walked toward the lounge, heels clicking softly, and chose a chair with a sightline to the elevators. She did not take out her phone. She simply watched. The scarred man muttered something to his companions. They exchanged glances, then nodded. "We'll check with dispatch and come back." He turned the cart around, smooth and unhurried, and guided it toward the service stairwell. As they disappeared, something small and black tumbled from beneath the cart and rolled under a potted palm. Liam did not move toward it immediately. He waited until the men were gone, then pressed the call button on his radio. "Oliver? This is Liam. We need to talk." Minutes later, Oliver Grant arrived, a tablet under one arm and a frown etched deep. Liam explained quickly. The uniforms, the mud, the backward badge, the tool discrepancies. Oliver listened without interrupting, his expression tightening. "I didn't authorize external contractors tonight. I'll pull the access logs." He glanced toward the stairwell. "Did they leave anything behind?" Liam pointed to the potted palm. Oliver crouched and retrieved the small black object. It was a network adapter, a PoE injector, with a rubberized casing and a blinking LED. Oliver's face paled. "This is industrial grade. Not something maintenance would carry." Liam nodded. "And it's configured. Someone planned to plug this into the network." Oliver pocketed the device. "I'll run a forensic check. In the meantime, keep your eyes open." But before Oliver could leave, Derek Hawthorne appeared, his expression sharp with irritation. "What's the delay? I got a complaint that luggage service is blocked," Liam explained. Hawthorne's face darkened. "You stopped a contractor crew because you didn't like their uniforms." "I stopped them, because they couldn't provide a valid work order. "You're a bellman, Carter, not security." Oliver intervened quietly. He followed protocol. Hawthorne's glare swung to Oliver. "And now we have 3 technicians who think our staff are paranoid amateurs. I'll be filing a report." He turned on his heel and stalked toward the admin offices. Liam exhaled slowly. Oliver met his gaze. "You did the right thing." But Liam knew Hawthorne would make him pay for it. The platinum-haired woman in the lounge stood and walked toward the elevators. As she passed, she glanced at Liam. Her eyes were gray-green, sharp as cut glass. She said nothing, but her expression held something close to approval. Then she was gone, swallowed by the elevator's polished doors. Liam returned to his station, restocking brochures and wiping down the brass luggage rack. His hands moved automatically, but his mind replayed the encounter. The men had been too polished, too rehearsed, and that adapter had not fallen by accident. It had been left behind, either as a mistake or as a warning. At 4 inches the morning, Liam biked home through rain-slick streets, his uniform damp under his jacket. Sophie was asleep. Her small body curled around a stuffed bear that had lost one eye. Liam kissed her hair and sat at the kitchen table, staring at the cold coffee he did not have the energy to drink. On the wall above the sink, taped in neat rows, were Sophie's sketches, diagrams of circuits, flowcharts of elevator systems, a child's attempt to understand the world her father used to build. He thought about the men in the lobby, about the adapter, about the woman who had watched him with those sharp assessing eyes, and he thought about Derek Hawthorne, already drafting a reprimand that would sit in Liam's personnel file like a stain. But Liam did not regret what he had done. He had seen something wrong and acted. That was the job. Not the job they paid him for, perhaps, but the job he had trained for. The job he still believed in. He pulled out his phone and typed a message to Oliver. "If you need help analyzing that device, I'm available." The reply came 3 minutes later. "I might take you up on that." Liam set the phone down and closed his eyes. Outside, the rain drummed against the window, relentless and cold. The next evening, Liam returned to the Grand Crest at his usual time, 600. The day shift was winding down, and the lobby buzzed with departures. He clocked in, changed into a fresh uniform, and checked the assignment board. His name was conspicuously absent from the VIP elevator rotation. Instead, Hawthorne had assigned him to luggage runs between the parking garage and the lower tier rooms. A demotion in all but name. Liam did not complain. He loaded bags onto a cart and made his rounds, smiling at guests, answering questions about restaurants and cable car schedules. At 8, he helped a family reunite with a lost toddler who had wandered into the gift shop. At 9, he manually unjammed a stuck elevator door using a tension bar and saved a businessman from missing his flight. At 1,000, he delivered room service to a guest who tipped him $50 and said, "You're the only person in this place who actually listens." Around 11, Amanda Reyes, the night desk clerk, waved him over. Amanda was 29, efficient and perceptive in the way that came from working too many graveyard shifts. She leaned in and whispered, "Hawthorne's been in Grant's office all afternoon, and someone pulled the access logs for the tool storage room." Liam's pulse quickened. What did they find? Don't know. But Grant looked pissed. At midnight, Liam's radio crackled. "Carter, report to security office." Oliver Grant's voice, clipped and formal. Liam set down his luggage cart and took the service elevator. Oliver's office was small, cluttered with monitors and filing cabinets. The PoE adapter sat on his desk, connected to a laptop running diagnostic software. Oliver gestured for Liam to sit. The device was configured to inject malware into the hotel network. Specifically, the guest management system. Financial data, reservation details, security protocols. Someone wanted access to everything. Liam felt a chill. Who would target the hotel? Not the hotel, Oliver said quietly. A guest. He pulled up a file on his screen. A corporate logo. Sleek and angular. Whitmore Technologies. The woman staying under the alias Mrs. Wells is Serena Whitmore, CEO. Net worth somewhere north of $8 billion. She's in town to finalize a quantum encryption contract with a defense contractor. If someone breached her files, they'd have access to classified technology, Liam finished, and they'd never trace it back. Oliver nodded. The malware signature matches a group called Cross, Industrial Espionage Specialists. High-end, expensive. He paused. Hawthorne thinks you planted the adapter to create a hero narrative. Liam's stomach dropped. That's insane. I know, but he's convinced. He wants you suspended pending investigation. Oliver, I'm not suspending you, but I need you to stay low. Let me handle this. Liam stood. What about the men I ran facial recognition? Nothing. Either they're ghosts or they're using advanced spoofing. Either way, they'll try again, and next time they won't be polite. Liam left the office, his mind racing. As he walked back to the lobby, he passed the VIP elevator. The doors opened. Serena Whitmore stepped out, dressed in a slate gray suit, her expression unreadable. She glanced at him, then away. But as the doors closed, she turned back. Excuse me, you're the Bellman from last night. Liam stopped. Yes, ma'am. You blocked a contractor crew. I did. She studied him for a moment. Why? Because they didn't follow protocol. And that mattered to you. It always matters. Serena's expression softened just slightly. What's your name? Liam Carter. Thank you, Mr. Carter. She extended her hand. Liam shook it. Her grip was firm, deliberate. If you notice anything else unusual, I'd appreciate it if you informed Mr. Grant immediately. I will. She released his hand and walked toward the lounge. Liam watched her go, something unspoken passing between them. Respect, maybe. Or recognition. That night, Liam slept poorly. He dreamed of circuits and locked doors, of men in coveralls pushing carts through endless hallways. He woke at dawn, made Sophie pancakes, and listened to her chatter about a science project on failsafe systems. It's like if one thing breaks, another thing catches it, she explained, pouring syrup with intense concentration, so nothing bad happens. Liam smiled. Redundancy. Smart. You taught me that. Did I? Yeah. You said buildings have backup plans. Like if the power goes out, the emergency lights turn on. Liam ruffled her hair. You're smarter than I was at your age. She grinned. I know. Later, as Liam biked Sophie to school, the rain returned, softer this time, more mist than storm. Sophie pedaled beside him, her yellow raincoat bright against the gray streets. At the school gate, she hugged him tightly. Love you, Dad. Love you more. Not possible, she said, and ran inside. Liam watched her go, his chest tight with a feeling he could not name. Then he turned his bike toward the Grand Crest and pedaled into the rain. At the hotel, the day was quiet. Too quiet. Liam restocked luggage tags, polished the brass railings, and answered guest inquiries with his usual care. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Oliver Grant moved through the building like a man hunting ghosts, checking camera feeds and access logs. Hawthorne avoided Liam entirely, which was worse than confrontation. And Serena Whitmore remained in her penthouse suite, invisible except for the occasional service request relayed through Amanda. Around 300 inches the afternoon, Liam found a folded note tucked into his locker. The handwriting was precise, feminine. If you're free this evening, I'd like to speak with you. Room 5208. SW. Liam stared at the note. 5,208 was the penthouse. Serena Whitmore wanted to see him. He did not know whether to be honored or terrified. At 7, after his shift ended, Liam took the VIP elevator to the 52nd floor. The hallway was silent, carpeted in deep charcoal, the walls lined with abstract art that probably cost more than his yearly salary. He knocked on the penthouse door. It opened immediately. Serena stood there, dressed casually in dark jeans and a cream sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders. She looked younger, less guarded. "Mr. Carter, thank you for coming." "Of course." She gestured him inside. The penthouse was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Rain streaked the glass, turning the skyline into a watercolor. Serena poured 2 glasses of water and handed him one. "I looked into your background." Liam's stomach tightened. "Oh, you were an aerospace engineer, structural systems. You worked on the Orion project before the company downsized." "That's right." "And now you're a Bellman." "That's right." She sat on the edge of the sofa, studying him. "Why?" "Because my daughter needed stability, and this job was available." "You don't resent it." "I resent the circumstances, not the work." Serena smiled faintly. "You have principles. I have bills." She laughed, a short surprise sound. "I like you, Mr. Carter. You don't posture." She set down her glass. "I want to hire you as a temporary consultant. Security assessment. I'll pay you $5,000 for a week of your time." Liam blinked. "That's generous. But I can't accept it." "Why not?" "Because it feels like charity, and I don't take charity." Serena's expression shifted, something like respect flickering in her eyes. "It's not charity, it's payment for expertise. You saw something last night that my security team missed. I need people who see." Liam hesitated. "What I need is for this hotel to treat me fairly, not for someone to pay me to bypass the problem." Serena was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. "All right. No payment. But if you notice anything else, will you tell me directly? I'll tell Mr. Grant. He's the security lead." "And if Mr. Grant is compromised," Liam's pulse quickened. "You think he's involved?" "I think someone inside this hotel is. And I think you're one of the few people I can trust." Liam met her gaze. "Why me?" "Because you stood in front of those men and didn't flinch. Because you care about doing the job right even when no one's watching. That's rare." Liam did not know what to say, so he simply nodded. "I'll keep my eyes open." "Thank you." As Liam turned to leave, Serena called after him. "Mr. Carter, your daughter, Sophie. She's lucky to have you." Liam stopped, surprised. "You know her name. I know a lot of things." She smiled. "It's part of the job." Liam left the penthouse, his mind spinning. Serena Whitmore was not what he had expected. She was sharp, yes, calculating. But there was something underneath. Something human. Back in the lobby, Amanda waved him over again. "Grant's been trying to reach you." "There's a problem." Liam's chest tightened. What kind of problem? Maintenance crew just arrived. Same coveralls, different faces, and Hawthorne signed off on them. Liam ran. He found Oliver Grant in the security office, staring at a monitor. On the screen, 3 men in navy coveralls pushed a cart toward the freight elevator. Oliver looked up. "I didn't authorize this." "Hawthorne did," Liam said. Why? Oliver's jaw tightened. "Either he's incompetent or he's compromised. We need to stop them." Oliver grabbed his radio. "All units, we have unauthorized personnel on site. Detain and question." He glanced at Liam. "Stay here." But Liam was already moving. He took the stairs 2 at a time, his heart hammering. The freight elevator was slower than the main lifts. If he ran, he could intercept them on the 48th floor. He burst through the stairwell door just as the elevator chimed. The doors opened. The three men stepped out, pushing their cart. Liam blocked their path. "Stop. Security wants to speak with you." The lead man, a different face this time, but the same cold eyes, smiled. "We're just doing our job." Not without proper authorization. The man reached into his coveralls. Liam's instincts screamed. He shoved the luggage cart forward, ramming it into the man's knees. The man stumbled, cursing. The other two lunged. Liam ducked, grabbed a brass luggage handle, and swung it like a club. It connected with a shoulder. Someone yelled. Alarms blared. Security flooded the hallway. Oliver arrived, weapon drawn. On the ground. Now, the men complied, faces blank. But as they were cuffed, one of them looked at Liam and smiled. "You're just delaying the inevitable." Liam's blood ran cold. Oliver pulled Liam aside. "You all right, yeah?" What were they carrying? Oliver opened the cart. Inside, beneath a false bottom, were devices Liam recognized. Signal jammers, miniature EMP generators, and a small black case labeled Remote Access Kit. "They were going to shut down the entire security grid," Oliver said quietly, "then breach the penthouse while we were blind." Liam's hands shook. "We need to move, Miss Whitmore." Already on it. But before they could act, the lights flickered once, twice. Then the building plunged into darkness. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in red. The fire alarm screamed. Oliver cursed. "They have a fourth man." Liam ran toward the stairwell. He did not think. He just moved. Up the stairs. Lungs burning, legs screaming. The 52nd floor. The penthouse. Serena. The hallway was filled with smoke, thin and acrid. The fire suppression system had activated. But something was wrong. The smoke was too thick. Too fast. Liam pulled his shirt over his mouth and pushed forward. The penthouse door was ajar. He kicked it open. "Miss Whitmore." No answer. He moved through the suite, low to the ground, eyes stinging. In the back room, he found her. Serena was crouched by the window, a wet towel over her face. She looked up as he entered, relief flooding her expression. "Liam, we need to go now." The doors jammed. Magnetic lock malfunctioned. Liam swore. He moved to the control panel, pried off the cover, and studied the wiring. Years of engineering training flooded back. He pulled a multi-tool from his belt, stripped 2 wires, and twisted them together. The lock clicked. The door swung open. "Come on." He grabbed her hand and pulled her into the hallway. The smoke was thicker now. The alarms deafening. They stumbled toward the stairwell. Behind them, a figure emerged from the smoke. Tall, broad-shouldered, holding a knife. Liam shoved Serena behind him. "Run." The man lunged. Liam dodged, grabbing a fire extinguisher from the wall and swinging it in a wide arc. It connected with the man's wrist. The knife clattered to the floor. The man snarled and charged. Liam threw the extinguisher, then grabbed a luggage strap from a discarded cart and looped it around the man's arm, yanking hard. The man stumbled. Liam kicked his legs out, and the man went down. Oliver and 2 officers appeared, weapons raised. Down, now. The man did not resist. Oliver cuffed him, while Liam helped Serena to her feet. She was shaking, soot-streaked, but her eyes were clear. "You saved my life." Liam shook his head. "Just doing my job." She smiled through the tears. "No, you did more than that." An hour later, the smoke had cleared, and the building was secure. Forensic teams swarmed the penthouse, collecting evidence. Oliver pulled Liam aside. The device logs show the breach originated from the tool storage room. Someone used Hawthorne's access code. Liam's chest tightened. "Hawthorne, he's been arrested." Financial records show payments from a shell company linked to Cross-Tech. He sold access for $200,000. Liam closed his eyes. All this time, the threat had been inside. Serena appeared, flanked by her legal advisor, a severe woman named Serafina Gould. Serena looked at Liam, and for the first time she let her guard down. "Thank you, doesn't feel like enough. It is." "No, it's not." She turned to Serafina. "Draft an offer letter, Miss Whitmore." "Now." Serafina nodded and disappeared. Serena turned back to Liam. "I'm offering you a position at Whitmore Technologies, head of physical security integration. You'll oversee the design of fail-safe systems for all our facilities. Starting salary is $250,000, full benefits, and a scholarship fund for Sophie at our STEM Academy." Liam stared at her, speechless. "You don't have to answer now," Serena said gently. "But think about it. You're wasted here." Liam thought about Sophie, about the diagrams on her wall, about the promises he had made to himself and to her. "I'll need to see the academy first." Serena smiled. "Of course." The next week, Liam stood in the Grand Crest's lobby one last time. He wore his uniform, white gloves pristine. On the concierge desk, he placed his name tag and his employee card. Oliver shook his hand. Amanda hugged him, even some of the guests he had helped stop to say goodbye. As he walked toward the doors, he passed the brass luggage rack he had polished 1,000 times. He touched it once, a small goodbye, and stepped into the sunlight. 1 year later, at a national technology conference in Seattle, Liam Carter stood on stage. Behind him, a screen displayed schematics for a new security architecture. "Zero-trust physical spaces," he explained, his voice steady and confident. "We don't assume safety. We design for failure, and we build redundancy into every layer." In the front row, Serena watched, arms folded, a faint smile on her lips. Beside her, Sophie Carter, now 8, fidgeted with a Lego model of a luggage cart, fitted with motion sensors and LED lights. She leaned over and whispered, "Dad's really good at this." Serena nodded. He always was. After the presentation, Liam found Serena in the atrium standing by the window. Rain streaked the glass, but the city beyond was bright and alive. She turned as he approached. "You were brilliant up there. I had a good teacher. You had good instincts." She paused. "Real value isn't in the title, Liam. It's in what you do when no one's watching." Liam smiled. "Someone once told me that." Serena laughed softly. Outside, a new sign reflected in the glass. Whitmore Carter Systems. A partnership built on trust, built on the simple belief that the right person in the right moment could change everything. And sometimes that person wore white gloves and pushed a luggage cart until the day he did not have to anymore.